A school principal in Lawrence County is arraigned in West Virginia. We have an update on his condition and the charges the suspect faces.
Plus, doctors say cases of walking pneumonia are on the rise in kids.
Parents should be on the lookout for a dry cough and maybe persistent over several days.
What you can do to keep your kids safe this virus season.
And in sports, it's the final week of the regular season in high school football. We take a look at the key playoff matchups and conference titles that will be decided tonight. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex and Wally.
And I'm Rosie Wong. It's a big weekend for Halloween and football across Southeast Ohio.
That's right, and lead forecaster Emily Deeds has more on if you'll need a coat before all the fall festivities. Emily, we saw a kind of cold, rainy day. Are we going to see the same things tonight?
Well, it was definitely a very typical fall day today. It rained this afternoon and the smell of leaves was really in the air, and our temperatures went up to about the 70s today, but things are definitely cooling down, and you're definitely right. You will be needing a jacket as the evening goes on. Right now it's about 66 outside, so not too uncomfortable just yet. But again, if you're going to any of those high school football games that we were talking about and we'll touch on a bit later in this show, you're definitely going to be needing to bring a jacket, and we may even be seeing some rain. But right now we're just seeing some partly cloudy skies and a little bit of that humidity. Now, part of the reason we saw some of this rain and these cooler temperatures was due to this cold front that passed through the area over the past couple of hours. Now, with this cold air, it pushed kind of this warm air that had some moisture in it up into the atmosphere, allowing a lot of those clouds to condense and causing a lot of this precipitation that moved through. And here's a look at our radar for the day today. We saw that rain moving through this afternoon, but we're not done just quite yet. As we go into the evening, we'll see that low of 44 and a 40% chance of showers over the next couple of hours. So be sure to stay tuned for a full forecast to find out just when this rain is coming.
Thanks, Emily. The man accused of stabbing the principal at South Point Elementary School in Lawrence County appeared in a West Virginia courtroom today.
Joshua Collins faces multiple charges related to the incident. The Lawrence County Sheriff's Office says Collins went to the school yesterday. While talking to Principal Bill Christian just outside the school office, Collins allegedly pulled a knife and stabbed the principal in the neck and upper torso. The principal then ran back into the office. Then Collins allegedly broke and chased Christian throughout the office and into the cafeteria. That's where South Point police arrested Collins.
Christian remains in stable, serious condition at Huntington Hospital. Collins awaits extradition to Lawrence County, where he is wanted on felonious assault and stalking charges. We have an important scam to look out for in Hocking County tonight. The Hocking County Sheriff's Office is warning residents about fake phone calls asking for donations. Deputies say the callers identifying themselves as Mike Wilson and asking for donations to Shop with a Cop program. They say the caller is not affiliated with the department. If you believe you are being targeted or have been scammed, call the Hocking County Sheriff's Office at the number on your screen. Tomorrow is National Drug Take Back Day, and local law enforcement is helping get rid of your unused medicine. The Hocking County Sheriff's Office will host their event at the Hocking County Fairgrounds from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. At the same time in Perry County, the Sheriff's Office will be there. The Sheriff's Office there will be collecting unused or expired medications at multiple locations, including the Corning American Legion and the Genesis Hospital. Doctors say disposing prescription medications properly can reduce risk of accidental or intentional misuse.
Best to get these drugs out of the house unless you have specific reasons by your provider to keep them in the house when you're done with them.
To find a prescription drug drop-off site near you, head to the website on your screen. You can put your zip code into the website and to see a list of places close to where you live and their hours of operation.
Officials in Chansey broke ground on Phase 2 of a project fixing the village's water system. The project will replace the village's 90-year-old clay pipe wastewater system. It is funded by the EPA and USDA Rural Development Program. The new system will help Chansey lower operating costs on water lines and potential environmental and health risks. The U.S. Department of Agriculture plans to invest nearly $2 billion to help food banks and rural communities nationwide. $1.2 million of the money will help food banks schools, childcare, facilities, and other institutions. The Ohio Association of Food Banks says this will help maintain existing programs and bolster local food supply chains. The remaining $500 million will be used to purchase domestic commodities for emergency food providers. Election Day is 11 days away, and while the presidential race is the major nationwide race here in Ohio, the race for U.S. Senate is getting a bulk of the attention.
Democratic U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown's race against Republican Bernie Moreno is shaping out to be the most expensive Senate contest this cycle. The campaign, parties, and outside groups have spent more than $400 million on campaign ads. The race could have major implication on who controls the Senate come 2025.
Ohio's U.S. Senate race is one of many races here in the Senate and across the country that could flip which party controls Congress. This would determine how much the next president will be able to accomplish during their term. Julia Benbrook has more on how history could be made this election cycle.
Polls show that something unprecedented could happen this year. The House could flip from Republican to Democratic control, while the Senate could flip from Democratic to Republican control. In the House, all 435 seats are up for grabs. Republicans currently control this chamber with a very slim majority.
I'm spending these final closing weeks in the swing states, in blue states, in toss-up districts for the House. I'm absolutely convinced. There's an energy out there right now. I'm convinced that we are going to win the White House, the Senate, and the House.
But Democrats need a net pickup of just 4 seats to flip the lower chamber. In the Senate, currently controlled by Democrats, only a third of the 100 seats are on the ballot every cycle. To flip it, Republicans need a net pickup of either 1 seat if the incoming vice president is a Republican, or 2 seats if the incoming vice president is a Democrat.
It's basically going to be about getting our voters out in the ground game and making sure that we get people out. I believe we're going to hold our majority, but it will be close. It's going to go right down to the wire.
The most vulnerable Democratic incumbents in the Senate are up for re-election in states that Trump twice carried comfortably. John Tester in Montana and Sherrod Brown in Ohio. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
WOUB is your election source in Southeast Ohio. Get the latest on key races right here on WOUB and online at woub.org. On election night, join us at 11:30 p.m. for a special report as we cover results live as they come in.
The pressure is on for candidates heading into the election, but there is also an added stress on voters that could take a toll. Experts say constant political ad campaigns and messages can increase anxiety levels. They recommend taking a break from the constant cycle of election news and ads like doom scrolling on social media. Self-care activities can also help people cope with election-related stress.
Care routines that we all have or should have that include physical activation, engaging in activities that are pleasurable, making sure that discussions that we have with friends or family members are not necessarily around the topics that are currently stressful.
Doctors also say if people find themselves frustrated with family or friends that have different political beliefs, you have to remember, the doctors remind you to remember political beliefs do not make up a whole person.
The number of people who have gotten sick from an E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's Quarter Pounders is on the rise. As of today, there has been risen to 75 cases across 13 states. Federal authorities say the outbreak has led to 22 hospitalizations and 1 death. Most of the illnesses are in Colorado. Officials are still working to confirm the specific source of the bacteria, but suspect onions might be the blame. The outbreak is prompting other fast food chains to safeguard their food. The parent company of Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC says it's removing fresh onions from menus at some locations just to be safe. Cold and flu season is underway, but there's another illness on the rise parents need to look out for. Data shows an increase in walking pneumonia cases. Ivan Rodriguez has more on what you can do to keep your kids safe.
Walking pneumonia is caused by a bacteria called Mycoplasma pneumoniae, and cases are spiking this year, especially among preschool-aged children, potentially for a few reasons.
One is better diagnostic tests. Number two, it's cyclical. We do see an increase in the fall, late summer, early fall. And number three is it's getting actually back to pre-pandemic levels.
Between the end of March and the start of October of this year, U.S. Emergency Department visits for pneumonia related to the bacteria increased significantly, especially for 2 to 4-year-olds and 5 to 17-year-olds, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Dr. Danny Brandstetter, the medical director of infectious disease at Wellstar Kennestone Hospital outside Atlanta, says the go-to antibiotic for pneumonia is amoxicillin. But since mycoplasma isn't treated by amoxicillin, doctors are using other antibiotics.
We often call it azithromycin. People may know that as a Z-Pak, is often treated this type of pneumonia.
Dr. Brandstetter says the good news is that a majority of kids and young adults will get over a mycoplasma infection without treatment. Still, parents can keep an eye on these symptoms and make sure prevention is a priority.
Parents should be on the lookout for a dry cough and maybe persistent over several days. And the kids may not be severely ill, but may feel crummy. Now, don't forget the prevention is cover your cough and sneezes and make sure you wash those hands.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
We're getting a dramatic first look at a video of first responders rescuing a woman trapped in her home in York Township. That's 40 minutes outside of Cleveland. Take a look. The massive fire broke out Wednesday afternoon and trapped a 31-year-old woman inside. She says she took refuge in the basement as her home became engulfed in flames. Rescuers had to break a window and a firefighter climbed in to help get her out.
Teamwork that went into getting her out of that window, and the courageous effort.
The woman was taken to the hospital and has since been released. The Ohio State Fire Marshal is investigating what caused the fire.
Plus, it is the final week of the regular season for teams across the 740. We've got the latest on the regular season finale.
Rain is on our radar, and we're going to put it on yours. Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out just what kind of wet evening you can expect.
Tara Dunning was reported missing.
We're urgently appealing for your help.
You think something's happened to her, don't you?
We found a couple of prints on the back door.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Just try not to touch anything.
I'm telling you, someone's taken off. We keep thinking you've got something to hide. Something's troubling her. So where the hell is she?
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
In hospital, you deal with cases. On the district, you deal with people. When mothers come to us, they bring everything they are with them.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh start.
You have done your best. Sometimes our best must be enough.
We're gonna take good care of you. We're with you now. This is you on the cusp of your next chapter.
It's a passageway into something new.
It just seeps into you.
It's a groundbreaking moment.
We can make it ours.
We're coming out hot. We're starting here. It's definitely going to be a treat for their palate.
What a story.
She had the imagination of a genius.
Each time I go up there, it's the sense of newness.
3, 2, 1.
Showtime.
We're all running.
It's beautiful.
Cherish every moment. Continue to laugh.
We hope you'll join us.
There is no going back.
It's time for a new beginning.
Tonight marks the end of the regular season in high school football, but that does not mean there's a lack of pressure on these teams.
That's right. Gridiron Glory Digital host Donovan Varney joins us live with more on what games we should be looking out for. Donovan, what are the key matchups that you're watching right now?
Yeah, guys, I'm out here at Portsmouth West High School for the SOC championship game tonight against Portsmouth West and Wheelersburg. It's a little rainy, it's a little cold, but it's going to be a good one. For many, conference championships are on the line tonight, but also playoff hopes. So we'll start right here at Portsmouth West for our first game of the night. The Senators are looking to stop Wheelersburg from winning back-to-back SOC championships. This is the third year in a row these two have competed for the conference crown. That Wheelersburg defense is going to have to put their best foot forward to stop the duo of Mason Parker and Anthony Bishop in the backfield for the Senators. These two have combined for over 2,000 yards already on the season. It's definitely going to be a good one. Now we're over to Grove City Christian at Fisher Catholic. The Eagles are currently undefeated in the MSL Cardinal, and they've already clinched a share of the conference. A win tonight would mean that they win the conference outright. The Irish have an opportunity to keep that from happening if they snag a win. So this one is sure to be a fight until the very end. And heading on over to the TVC Ohio, where the undefeated Athens Bulldogs will take on Nelsonville York for the conference title. Last year, these two teams faced off for second place in the conference behind Vinton County, and this year, they're going for all the marbles. The Nelsonville York defense has been on lock all season, giving up only 10 points a game through 9 weeks so far, while the Bulldogs offense is averaging over 40 points a game. This title game is one to stay tuned on. And now we move on to Warren and Marietta. Warren and Marietta is going to be a good one. We got a lot going on in the TSL. Both teams, if one team wins, they clinch the conference. If the other team wins, they clinch the conference. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. And the loser will share second place. A win for the Tigers would also give them a 92% chance of making the playoffs. And finally, for our final game, it's our game of the week. We've got New Lexington and Sheridan, a rivalry that goes way back, with this being their 59th meeting. And our story tonight is playoff hopes, and this game is absolutely no different. Sheridan needs a win tonight against the Panthers to lock in that playoff spot, while New Lex has secured their place in Week 11 and are fighting for 2 home games. So guys, you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned to Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30 p.m. And it's going to be a good one. We got episode 10 of the show, and I will be here to tune into this game. Like I said, it's a little rainy, but I'm excited to see what goes down, all right? Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Donovan Varney, live in Portsmouth.
Thanks, Donovan.
Yeah, thank you, Donovan. Emily, it seems like it's raining pretty hard on Donovan out there. Well, is it going to let up before those games start, and is it going to be like that for a lot of different high school games in the area?
Well, if you're in Athens, or if you're going to be anywhere east of Athens, you're in a little bit of clear right now, but hopefully the rest of you out there in Portsmouth, or if you're north of Portsmouth and you're Chillicothe, I hope you brought a jacket. Otherwise, you're going to get soaking wet, just like our poor friend Donovan out there. But again, right now in Athens, Ohio, we're not seeing any of that rain just quite yet. Right now, it's partly cloudy outside, and our temperatures are dropping a little bit. So we have gone from about the mid-70s today, lower 70s, to about 66 right now. Now I want to take a look at our current live radar that we have for the state of Ohio. Now if you take a look, a lot of this green area is where we're seeing those main rain cells pop up. And I'm just going to draw on real quick where we're expecting these storms to come in within the next couple of hours. So we're seeing just north of Jackson, pushing towards the east. If you're up near MacArthur, those are going to be pushing towards the northeast a little bit. Same with Logan. Those are all pushing up towards the northeast. And in fact, we actually do have a little bit of lightning down near Gallipolis and near Crown City, and that's going to be kind of pushing towards the east and a little bit towards that south or northeast direction as well. So we're just expecting a lot of this rain to continue to move from the west towards east, which is our typical storm movement, but we're not really expecting any thunder and lightning apart from this little cell down here in southern Ohio. For the most part, a lot of this is just going to be a lot of rain moving into the area, so hopefully you grabbed your jacket before you went out to those football games, or if you're still at home, run to your closet and grab it real quick before you run out that door, because you're also going to need it because it's going to be pretty chilly outside. In fact, we had a cold front move through the area, which is causing a lot of the rain that we're seeing because we had this little bit of warm air, a little bit of that moisture come up from the south, and this cold air is just pushing right up against it, causing all these storms to kind of form right along this cold front boundary, right along in here. Now, if you notice right behind it, we also have this high pressure, which is helping to pull down these cooler temperatures from our friends up north in Canada. And so we're going to be seeing a couple of these 50, 60 degree days for the next day or so. But if you're not a fan of this cooler weather, you're in a little bit of luck because next week, it's not going to be quite so cold. We're just expecting these cooler temperatures over the evening hours and again for the next day or so. But tonight, again, looking at that 40% chance of showers over the next hour or so. If you're in Athens, we're expecting that rain to come in around 7:45, 8 p.m. tonight. So make sure to grab that jacket. And again, we're going to see a low of 44 degrees, so definitely on the chillier side of things. Now tomorrow, a lot of that rain will have moved away from the area, so we're looking at a high of 64 degrees in those mostly sunny skies. And again, our temperatures overnight will be on the cooler side of things. And tomorrow, we're going to see that high pressure start to take into shape, especially on Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday looking like beautiful days. And I know we have a lot of fall festivities and a lot of Halloween activities going on this weekend. And even here at OU, we have our football game tomorrow, so it's going to be lovely weather for this weekend, and I know I'm really looking forward to it. So if you don't have any intention on celebrating Halloween, it's at least a good weekend to go out and enjoy those beautiful leaves. Our temperatures are going to be in the mid-60s from Saturday into Sunday, and our overnight conditions are going to be pretty chilly. But by the time we move into next week, again, we see those temperatures start to pick up. We're going to be in the upper 70s by the time we get from Tuesday into Wednesday, and then we're looking at another chance for showers next weekend. So be sure to stay tuned for our show for those further updates next week.
Next, the opioid crisis continues to have a major impact on lives in Southeast Ohio. We speak with a reporter from the Post on what people are doing to help.
This year, Gridiron is back and better than ever with our 25th season. I'm your host, Haley Hollinger.
And I'm your digital host, Donovan Varney. Throughout the week, make sure to tune into our Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube for game preview segments on the pregame huddle. If you still can't get enough high school football, check out our Instagram and TikTok for more weekly content.
And of course, we'll see you right here every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. because there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
No world is truly unchanging.
This is nature at its absolute finest.
Our daughter, she's gone missing. I should leave this alone.
But you won't.
He's doing things no one had ever done before, and that is astounding.
It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Despite a downward trend in opioid-related deaths nationally and across the state, the opioid crisis continues to devastate the Athens community in Athens County. Zoe Wyand, a reporter from the Post, Ohio University's student-run independent newspaper, joins us here live in studio with more. Thank you so much for joining us today, Zoe.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So to get us started off here, why is this surge happening here in Athens County when we're seeing the opposite happen nationally?
Yeah, when I talked to the administrator for the Athens Health Department, they weren't entirely sure why it was happening in Athens County. But, you know, he did make a point to say that a lot of the CDC reports that say that nationally the opioid overdose deaths are going down, they're pretty much reporting on prescription opioids and not necessarily the side of opioids that is fentanyl use, heroin use, methamphetamines, things like that.
Okay, and what are some of the officials that you talked to doing to try to combat this issue?
Yeah, they have a lot of outreach programs. They have a program that's called Athens Hope, which helps reduce the stigma around opioid use, and then they do needle exchange programs. They also do weekly meetings where they bring in Ohio University medical staff. They also bring in mental health staff to help people who are struggling with opioids. So they do, yeah, a lot of outreach programs.
Yeah, and in your story you mentioned kind of emphasis for the county, at least, in casual users. Tell me what that is, and tell me why they're trying to really alleviate that part of the problem.
Yeah, casual users are people like college students who don't really realize the effects of opioid use, and so they think that they can, take an Adderall to take the edge off while they're doing their homework, or, take a sleeping pill because they're having trouble sleeping, and they don't realize that, prescription opioids that they might be getting off the street could be spiked with things like fentanyl, and they don't have a tolerance for fentanyl. So they're a lot more likely to have severe effects, even to the point of death. And the health department, I'm not entirely sure what they're doing to combat it, but they are putting a deeper focus on people like casual users.
Yeah, and so what are some things that our viewers at home and just people in general should know about opioids that you learned while doing the research for this story?
Yeah, I think a big thing is just reducing the stigma around opioid use and, having conversations with people who are affected by opioid use, going to those outreach programs that are facilitated by the health department, and having conversations with people who are addicted to opioids, and putting a big emphasis on educating yourself about the people of Athens.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Zoe.
Thank you.
To read Zoe's full story, you can visit thepostathens.com and look under the news section. Still ahead, Halloween is less than a week away, and a new report is giving us a look at some of the top costumes this spooky season.
The next few years might be rough. There's going to be ups and downs.
From the last election to the present one.
I wonder about the American dream. I haven't seen anybody in my neighborhood come from rags to riches.
The views and experiences of Americans.
I want the values to be what the people are voting for, not the person.
There's so much division and polarization.
A Frontline special presentation, American Voices 2024.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Young people of color are registering, mobilizing, and turning out like never before.
This past year, we saw Texas break all voter turnout records.
We have to go out there and win votes by talking, listening, and showing them the respect that they deserve as our fellow Texans.
You can't assume that because of my skin color, I'm going to vote a certain way.
This is what democracy looks like.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
We cover all the angles. We report the facts. We find clarity. PBS is here, delivering the credible, reliable, thoughtful election coverage you need to make informed decisions. PBS, your trusted election source.
It's such a magical place.
The abundance of life, absolutely extraordinary. And then it hit me. The world has to see this.
Transylvania is a wonderland of natural treasure.
There are many, many worlds out there that we are yet to discover.
She was the target for accusations of being a vampire.
Wednesday on WOUB.
With Halloween less than a week away, Google has a look at some spooky costumes you could see this year. The tech company released this year's most trending Halloween costumes. Google says this year's top costume, Shrunken Head Bob and Dolores from Beetlejuice. Also topping the list, Raygun the Breakdancer, a Chipotle burrito, and the Inside Out characters. The list is based on comparisons of year-to-year search data from September. Now, I don't know about you. Do you guys know what the shrunken head thing is? I have no clue.
I actually do.
Really?
My mom made me watch Beetlejuice when I was a kid, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to watch it, And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is the best movie ever. So shout out to my mom for making me watch that fantastic movie. But yeah, it's just such a fun character. But taking a look at our weather for tonight, we are expecting a couple of rain showers this evening as the evening goes on. Portsmouth especially, and looking near Gallipolis, that we're going to see a lot of rain through there. And the rain currently in MacArthur, we're going to see that move into Athens. And tonight, we're going to see that overnight low of 44 degrees. And again, that 40% chance of showers.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.
And stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next.